coming up on 5 minutes late. 5 minutes late. I'm going to have to set my reminder alarm earlier. This just isn't working. I'm just not able to get everything together to start the broadcast in time. And so we are perpetually late. 5 minutes and late. That is not a good thing. And there are 10 folks in the chat already buzzing about. That was the same number that was in yesterday when I started. Lance is in the house. Carlos is in the house. They have wrenches. Triforce is also in the house with a wrench. Lance in the house with a wrench. A lot of wrench gang members in here. And another CraigShipp workout stream for me. Triforce Rich is working out. That's good for the immune system. Good move. And our Wags is in the house. And let's see, David's in the house. And yeah, they're all just saying hello to each other. The 002 seems to be slow, says Carlos. No, I don't think it's slow. I don't think the 002 is slow. We'll see. If it's slow, I would not be a happy camper. Not be a happy camper. I do not like slow watches. Our Wags is in the house. And David Williams says, sorry to hear about Roy Horn passing. Always enjoyed seeing Sickfield and Roy. Fabulous show in Las Vegas. There you go. Absolutely. And Lance is in the house. He's saying hi to Williams Watches, who's in the house with a wrench. And always watch the next day, as in the UK, staying up late tonight. Tom in the house. Tomorrow's show is going to be even later because we're going to do a Bitcoin halving special. And I think that might not be until like around 9 o'clock or so we'll go live. I'll try to go live about an hour before the actual halving. And the time varies a little bit on the halving just because it depends on how quick they do the blocks. So it's not necessarily a set time, but I think it's going to be around that time frame tomorrow. The once every 4 years Bitcoin halving. The most important thing that happens worldwide every 4 years is the halving. It ain't the Olympics, it's the halving. And it happens every 4 years. Let's see. And our Wags is in the house. He's throwing over a greetings to Tom. And let's see, Triforce Rich, 5 minutes late, so an extra 30 minutes for today's show. We've been going long anyway. It's been a thing that we've been doing, but time flies when you're having fun. And do you think the SBGK007 would be a bad move? I love the design of the watch, but it's a 9S movement. Let's pull up an SBGK007. Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Give me a moment here to pull this puppy up. And we will talk about this. We'll talk about this. Oh, yeah, I remember this piece. Yeah. I think it's a cool piece. I really do. The only thing, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the small seconds hands, but, you know, it's balanced nicely with the power reserve. And I do like that the power reserve is on the rear on my watch, but it is handy to have it on the front there to just be able to glance at it and know where you stand. So there are arguments both ways. Let's see the numbers on this. It is 39 mils by 11.6, so it's definitely trim enough to use as a nice dress piece. Anything under 12 mils is always a good move there. And yeah, it's a mechanical wind movement. Of course, it's not a spring drive, but depending on how often you're wearing it and all that, I mean, that should not be an issue. I think it's a cool piece. I think it's a cool piece for a dress piece. Absolutely. I'd buy that before I'd buy something that was white gold. Why would you pay for white gold when steel looks pretty much the same? So there you go. That's a nice piece. And Michael's in the house. Oh, I just read that one. Let's see. Our Wags. Okay. All right. So there we go. All right. So here's the deal. This is part 2 of my 2-watch combo discussion between the the 231, the stunning SBGA231 titanium diver that you see there. I went for a long hike today, and I did wear the titanium diver. And I'll tell you what, I've had a wandering eye recently, and you know the 002 has really caught my attention. But I wore the 231 on that long hike today, and that is a fantastic piece. I mean, just a fantastic piece. So yeah, maybe the 231, the SBGA 231 titanium diver in rotation with this gold stunner, maybe that is a perfect 1-2 punch. Maybe that's a perfect 1-2 punch to go that direction. Maybe, just maybe, it's hard to top that 2-watch combo. I'll tell you what, the 002 is amazing. It's just freaking amazing. But maybe that's the perfect combo. Maybe you cannot trump that. Maybe the 231 titanium diver is the best possible sport watch you can have because it has maximum legibility. It has a rotating bezel which you can use for timing things. And it's got every minute marked on that bezel, unlike a Rolex, which doesn't bother to give you those marks, right? So this is much more usable for timing something, and much more legible as well than the Rolex bezel, and of course much more accurate than the Rolex movement, and of course will require less maintenance. Literally run decades without any maintenance. Of course, the Rolex will do that too, but this will do it more accurately. I mean, pretty much better looking lugs. It's got a 22 mil wide bracelet as opposed to the 20 mil wide bracelet on the sub, which this looks much better on wrist because of the bigger bracelet. And rides on wrist about as comfortably as a super case and looks a lot better doing it. So maybe that's the ultimate sport watch. Not even a close call. Much more functional clasp, by the way, too. Much easier to use the clasp as far as extending it and things like that. And much easier to take it on and off than the Rolex clasp. So much more functional there. It's going to have less problems with bracelet stretch down the road because it has the pen and collar system. The pen will freewheel in there, and so less wear and tear there. So a whole lot of advantages. So yeah, maybe that's the perfect sport watch, the 231 titanium diver, and then of course coupled with this 002 stunner, that could be the 1-2 combo right there. What do you guys think? This is part two of the discussion here, and there's a close-up of the 002 stunner. I took it out and got a little bit of sun, a little bit of vitamin D. A little bit of vitamin D for the 002 the other day, and looking pretty good there, I think. So let me know what you think in the chat. Let's get a little feedback on this. How can we know what would be the first block after the halving? I would like to make a BTC donation to Bree on that block. Carlos, that is a very good question. How you can do a transfer and be assured that it's in that block. I think that you would simply track the blocks on the blockchain and simply send your when it hits over to that block. Simply send your transaction then. I think that's doable. I think that would be doable. Isn't there a website you can go to that will track the blocks and that you can then be sure that you send it right? What you would want to do is once the block before is done, a done deal, then you would want to send it then because you got a 10-minute interval there. It's 10 minutes, right? So I think now a lot of people might be sending transactions to try to do exactly what you're doing. So that might be a little trickier to make sure it gets into that block. You might have to like up your fee that you're willing to pay for the transaction to get priority treatment. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about a lot of people doing the same kind of thing that you're going to be trying to do. So, but yeah, that'd be interesting if you could pull that off. That would be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool because there'd be a record of that in the block, and you could put a little note with the thing, a little note to Bree in the transaction. That would be kind of cool. Michael's in the house. SBGK007 would be my daily diver. There you go. I'm just a little concerned about accuracy. My daily driver is what he meant, not diver. Well, I think it depends on how important accuracy is to you. If accuracy is your main thing, I would definitely go with something with a spring drive or a 9F. Yeah, I mean, if accuracy is really a thing for you, and it's become that way for me, I have to say. So yeah, I that's why I only own 9F movement watches and spring drive watches at this point. That's all I own. 2 spring drivers and one 9F. Craig, stick with the 231. Wearing the 002 on a hike is like wearing a suit working out. There is a time and a place for everything. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Triforce Rich. I agree with you. I think I need to have a sport watch. I think I need to have a watch for those kinds of purposes. And I think the 231 definitely meets that need as a heavy use piece. And I wear it a lot around the place here. So it's not like it doesn't get wear. I mean, it gets a lot of use. So yeah, I think the 231 is definitely staying in the stable. Now the 005 next to it there, that's kind of becoming the red-headed stepchild. And of course that's appropriate because it does have a red GMT hand. That might be another story on that puppy. All those things you just said are fixed with the SD43. What's the SD43, Triforce Rich? SD43. Is that the Sea Dweller? Is that a Sea Dweller? Or is that what you're talking about? But that'd be way too heavy on wrist. That's where the titanium comes in on that titanium stunner. That's what makes it so comfortable. So, no, I wouldn't want to wear the, if you're talking about a Sea Dweller, I wouldn't want to wear that on my wrist all the time. It'd just be too heavy and bulky. I've been spoiled, and also wouldn't have the accuracy. I've been spoiled by the accuracy of my 231, which is unbelievable. Rolex will hold value. Seiko bombs out. I don't buy my watches to sell, so that's not an issue for me. I buy my watches to actually wear, so it doesn't matter about that. Let's see. And also, by the way, my Grand Seikos, my experience has been they've done pretty good as far as holding value. It's not really an issue, but. And also, by the way, Rolexes don't hold their value very well either. They're very difficult to sell, and most people lose money on selling their Rolexes. So don't believe everything you see online, because most of it is not true. I will look at that block thing, says Carlos. There you go. Triforce Rich, Sea Dweller 43. You're right. It is really heavy, but they did get the proportions right. My friends gains 2 seconds a day, which is insane for a fully mechanical piece. Yeah, but not anywhere near as accurate as what I've gotten used to. For me, 2 seconds a month is, it would be like not that great, right? Mine is like 2 seconds after 5 months. So now I think my preliminary guess is that this one's going to be a little faster than that. I think this one is running fast, Carlos. I don't think it's running slow. Are you going to keep the 005 Lance in the house? That's a good question. Maybe I'll hold it for the Lancer to buy. Maybe Lance will end up buying it. I'll give Lance a deal. Sorry, I'm late joining. Running on tutor time, the mighty rat. Let's do a check and see. Let's do an accuracy check on the Let's do an accuracy check on the... I got to close some of these tabs. I'm sorry. I got way too many tabs open here. Give me a second.
Hi, I'm
But we're going to
Tim.
do an
Welcome to our
accuracy
channel.
check on the
Thanks for logging
002. It's a
on.
little bit
If you-
early. Oh, there's Tim. We're going to get this Calatrava video down too. We don't need to look at that again. I'm just going through some things here. Where is the time? Oh, here it is, time.gov. This is what I wanted. All right, so give me a second here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a side-by-side here. We're going to do a time check. And we've got 3 and 4 and side-by-side. Okay, there we go. All right, so first of all, let's check out the diver. We checked it the other day. Let's see how it's doing here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a freeze frame right there, 45 seconds, right? Okay, so I'm running looks like about 3 seconds fast, about 3 seconds fast there. And that's after, I don't know how many months. You guys can do the math on when the time changed, right? When we had that time change. So, okay, so now let's see. Let's go to camera 2 on this one. Let's do a freeze frame on this puppy here. If I can get it in focus. Give me a second here. And I'm going to do a freeze frame on this. Right there. Okay, so that's at 20. That's just a hair past 20. So it's running, let's call it about a second fast. About a second fast on the 002. So we'll check that again in about a week or so. Excuse me. And then we'll see how the 002 is doing in about a week or so. So keep that in mind, guys. It's about a second fast as we speak. Let's see. Just keep the 005 for when you travel. Even if you don't travel much, the watch has a 3-year power reserve. There you go, Michael in the house. Hey, pals, Cheetown, the Mighty Rat. William, which model of OP is yours and how old is it? Lance is in the house. Triforce Rich. Oh, by the way, why doesn't Kyle sell his Lance? Why don't you buy Kyle's Air King? He doesn't need that Air King anymore. I didn't even realize he had the Air King. Why don't you buy the Air King from Kyle? What about that plan? That Air King was stunning. David's in the house. Triforce Rich, RE005 for Lance. Speaking as SBGN005 owner myself, +1 for that. Timeless Watch channel taken off at the knees. Producer Michael hit piece taken down for copyright reasons. Wow, interesting. Well, that's probably good that was taken down anyway, because I think that was in bad taste from what I've understood. I didn't watch it, but from what I've heard, I think that might have been in bad taste. Carlos is in the house. Having a not ultra super accurate watch gives you the opportunity to interact with the watch every 1 to 2 weeks. That's a good thing to me. You know, I'm a bit romantic. Yeah, I don't want to interact with changing the time on my watch any more than I have to. It's a pain in the it's a pain for me to get that second hand in sync with the minute hand and everything. Now, if it's running a little fast, that's different. You can just stop it for a few seconds, right? So that's easier, but especially if they're running slow, it's a pain in the neck. But no, I'd rather just have the accuracy and not have to worry about it, not have to think about it. Once you get the accuracy, it really changes things. It is a pivotal moment, I think. So Carlos, watch out. Once you get like something really accurate, like a spring drive or a 9F, you might like change your tune, and you might like not even want to wear the other watches. Triforce Rich is in the house. Milgauss is 0.5 seconds a day after 3 years. My sub was 2 seconds when I had it. It's really luck at the end of the day. Craig's 231 is the most accurate I've seen. Yeah, it is very accurate. Wasn't the 002 a second slow? No, I didn't set it slow. I would have never set it slow. Oh, you mean just now when we checked it, was it slow? I don't think so. Let's do it again. We can do it again. Okay, so we'll go to 2, and we'll go to side by side. Okay, here we go. We can do it again. Whoops. Get that in focus as best I can, and let's stop it right there. Okay, so that's straight up at the 12. So it's 5:42:58 seconds is the official time. So according to that stop that I just did right there, it's 2 seconds fast. So that's looking like, it depends on when it was going to change from 58 to 59 seconds, right? So, but right there, that freeze frame would apparently, the 002 was 2 seconds fast. So yeah, if it starts running slow, I would not be a happy camper. That would not be good, folks. Not be good. I would not be happy on the channel if my watch is running slow. It's running a little fast, I can go with that. But or if it's spot on, that's okay. But slow we don't do on this channel. We don't do slow. What do you guys think about that? Let's see, William. And most watches are calibrated, if they're worth their salt, they calibrate them so they're a little bit fast. They know that too. That, you know, when they calibrate the watches, they know that it's better for them to run a little bit fast than to run slow. So usually, in my experience with most high-end watches is they are usually calibrated to run a little bit fast as opposed to slow. Let's see, William, that's the one I love, absolute stunner. What color is the dial? Okay, I'm not sure which watch you're talking about there. Honestly, I watched the video and it was harmless, way overblown. Triforce Rich. Okay, there you go. There's another opinion on it, another take. And OP36, great choice for a first watch. Tom in the house. Triforce Rich, yeah, completely agree. It's a luck of the draw, but I know once it goes into service, you can request the accuracy to be a key point for you. Okay. Craig, how is the quality on the clickable Fisher space pen? The original pen that I think they sell for what, $40 now in that neighborhood, the actual original space pen, it feels very good. It's very solid. I have one. Let me go grab it real quick. Okay. Whoops. I grabbed my two favorites just because they're right together on my desk. And this is the one I usually write with. This is the Infinium, I think. Yeah, Infinium pen. And this is the one that has the real big reservoir for ink. And I always leave it like this. I don't even close the cap. You can close the cap like that, right? All right. It's pretty cool. Okay. But I always leave it on my desk like this. These do not dry up. You don't have that problem with these pens. And this one, the ink is guaranteed to last forever. If it ever runs out of ink, you just send it back to them and they'll replace it, right? So that's the one I write with all the time because it's got unlimited ink, basically. And it's got a lot of ink in there, so the chances of you running it out of ink in your lifetime are pretty slim, unless you write a lot. Now here's the other one you asked about, the actual official, the original space pen. And it's got a little button on the side, and what you do is you deploy it like that, and then the little button right there, you tap that and it goes back in. So let me give you a close-up of that. And very solid. It's got a nice heft to it. It feels very, very well made, and the mechanism works great. The only reason I don't use this as my primary pen is this one has the unlimited ink. So now as far as carrying a pen with me, of course I carry the DuPont. Okay, and these cartridges also last a pretty long time. I have one cartridge in my other DuPont that's probably 20 years old, still fine. And they don't tend to dry up or leak either. So yeah, that's the deal on those. Let's see. I absolutely love it too. It's my everyday wear. I have the white grape dial, so champagne, bronze, really. Okay, the OP, yeah, they're fantastic. Enjoy that beauty. Okay, the Air King is nice, but the 34 millimeter case is too small. It would look fine now, but would probably look too small on my wrist when I'm older. Oh, I don't think so. That one looked really good on Kyle's wrist. It looked great. I think it would be fine. What size wrist do you have, Lance? Let us know. By the way, Craig, Rolex Sports is really easy to sell. Just don't pay over list. I sold my sub for a 1K profit because a dealer just offered the cash on the spot, and I hated the fat lugs. When did you sell it, though? Times have changed. It's a lot harder to sell them now. And usually you're going to have to pay fees. You're not going to get lucky like that. You're going to have to pay somebody like Chrono24 or somebody to sell it for you, and so it's going to take fees to sell it. So it's not a liquid asset. It's not like Bitcoin where you can immediately put it on an exchange and sell it right away. I mean, it's not a liquid asset. So these people that think that a watch is like a store of value, like an investment or whatever, it's a whole different thing. It's not that easy to sell them, especially now in the current economy. So really, you should really think of a watch as a consumable item, as an item that you buy to wear and use. And then if at some point you sell it and you get a good price out of it, that should be considered a bonus. But to think of them as a store of value or an investment or something like that, I think is it's not a wise financial decision. But hey, everybody can do what they want. Let's see, I reckon OP, Explorer 39, Date 8, Datejust are best current production Rolexes right now. Those ceramic sport Rolexes lost their cool because of the chicken bone wristed investors showing them off. I'm missing Eduardo and his new watch. Okay. Tom Chamberlain, I completely agree. The OP36 should have been my first watch for everyday wear, but my first piece was a two-tone Datejust. There you go. Lance, Craig, what color is your 005 dial? I can't tell from the angle if it's navy blue or black. It is blue, but in a lot of lighting, in a lot of lighting it does look black. So it depends on the lighting that you're in, but it is a stunning blue color. And I've got a couple of pictures. You really should take a look at the pictures on my Flickr. But here, I'll pull up a few. Just give me a second here. I'll pull up a few that'll kind of show you what that dial can look like. Give me a second. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, here I got 34 photos in a set here that we will take a look at. We will take a look at these puppies. Okay, here's one that shows the loom. Okay, and we'll just we'll make this full screen or full size, bigger or whatever, and then we'll just kind of go through these photos real quick here. For the Lancer, you see you're picking up a little bit of blue in that picture. You're going to see, depending on the photo, you're going to see what it looks like. And of course this one does have a screw down crown, does have crown guards. And see, it looks almost black there. A little bit of blue popping out in that shot. That's the day I got it at Little Treasury. A little bit of blue showing up in that one. And you can really see the red GMT hand in that. And there's a little bit of blue popping out in that shot. There's a lot of blue popping out in that one. So you can see how, depending on the lighting, there's a lot popping out in that one. And then less there. See, it just depends on how the lighting is striking. It's really a striking dial. It's really amazing. And there's the shape of that case. See how nice the shape is and how nice that brushing is on the side. I mean, this one, they really got everything right. You got to understand, when I bought this, I didn't need a watch. I didn't really need it. I had the other gold stunner dress watch, and I didn't really need this, but I just thought they nailed it with this watch. And Steve gave me a good deal at his event, and the rest is history. But look at that thing. It's just... There, I tried it on a gas bone strap. And there's David's on his alligator or crocodile strap. We're still not 100% sure what those straps are made of. At least I'm not. So there you go. There I'm going to New York to the Grand Seiko event with the watch on. So, amazing watch. I've got the problem where I have 3 just amazing watches to wear. And I just don't have enough wrist time for all 3. That's the problem that I've got going on here. Real problem. Fisher space pins are called that because they're from another galaxy compared to fountain pens. I spent my entire morning disassembling and troubleshooting my fountain pen. The only downside to Fisher space pins, and this is why some purists don't like them and buy other things like the DuPont or something like that, is you can get a little glob of ink come out of the ballpoint tip from time to time. You can get like a little glob, not a big glob, but just a little glob to kind of, and it'll smudge or whatever, and it kind of, it's not attractive when you're writing something, right? To have that. But that's the trade-off you have, because the ink is this gooey material. And the reason they use the gooey material is it's in there under pressure. And that's why it will write upside down, or it'll write like in space, or it'll write underwater, because the ink is under pressure. So when you roll that ball, right, that ink will want to come out because it's under pressure. And whereas most pens, it's just gravity fed, right? It's not under pressure. And so that's why they had to use the gooey ink, so that it wouldn't leak out all the time, right? Because it is under pressure. So that's the secret to how they got all that to work, was that gooey ink. But I find that it works okay, and I think it's a worthwhile trade-off. Let's see. I have that space pen used for 20 plus years at work, okay? I like to sign deals with a fountain pen with a broad stub nibble. There you go. Carlos out making deals. I love it. I love it. Williams watches. We have the same taste in Rolex, it seems, my friend. There you go. William, great minds think alike. I want either OP39 or 1406M, 2-liner, no date sub, my first Rolex. There you go. Carlos, do you still leave a horse's head when somebody screws you on a deal, or is that too old school? He probably leaves the whole horse nowadays. Let's make a real statement. My 2-watch rotation, 36 millimeter OP, Blue Explorer dial, and a Tudor. Please don't. Oh, not a Tudor. Oh my God, you had me. You had me at OP. You lost me at Tudor. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Cheetown, California, indeed, buddy. You can't go wrong with either piece. That's a really hard choice. Only if the interested person breeds horses. I try always to make it personal. There you go. I have a 6.5-inch wrist, says Lance. Yeah, I think I think Kyle's watch would look great on your wrist. I think it would be fantastic. Triforce Rich. Rolex isn't an investment, but I think of it as plus or minus 20% cash at any given moment. it can be worth a bit less or more than I paid. People who are screwed are the investors. There you go. Triforce Rich. Tom, that's an awesome two-piece collection. Okay. I have a rotating bezel, so I lean towards the sub. I can't stand fat lugs on the current sub. Yeah, they just ruin the looks of that watch, unfortunately. What tutor do you have, buddy? Oh, my gosh, please no. Please no. Kyle's in the house. There you go, Lance. Here's your chance to work a deal with Kyle. I really think that Air King would look great on your wrist. And Carlos is in the house, and he said, great report yesterday, thank you. That was a lot of fun, and Kyle really did a great job. He's a good field reporter. Triforce Rich Craig suggested Lance buy your Air King off you. Is it for sale? And Tom's in the house, Black Bay 41, nice watch, but quite thick. Yeah, I would pass on that. Williams Watches is in the house. I can't stand the Chubb Mariner. That's the first time I've heard that referred to as a Chubb Mariner. I love the older classic style cases when it comes to the sub and GMTs. Absolutely. Positively. Craig, check out the Tudor Black Shield if you want to see a really ugly Tudor for a laugh. You email me a link, I'll do it. I'll make a deal with you. You email me the link and let me know you sent it, and I'll pull it up. But I'm not going to Google it. Huge first world problem. If Rolex released the next sub with the pre-ceramic case, smaller lume plots, and the modern bracelet, it would sell out in 5 seconds flat. There you go. I'm not really against the larger lume plots. Of course, my eyes are marginal, so, But, yeah, I would take it either way as far as the lume plots. But as long as they fix that case, and not just the lugs, the whole case was more curvaceous and just had a better shape, the older cases. I think the case on the red sub was really the best. That was when they were at their peak as far as the case design. The case on the red sub. You should see the video I have. Let me see if I can pull that up. The one that I sold my buddy Paul. See if we can pull that up. Give me a second here. I'm going to have to do a search here real quick. Just give me a moment. While I try to find this, I'll just search Paul. Hopefully that will bring it up. Yep, here it is, red sub. Give me a second here. Don't anybody panic. When it comes time to panic, I will let you know. Okay, here we go. Here's the red sub. This will load in. Dun, 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 dun.
Jeannie, I wish
I guess I'm going to have to skip an
to
ad.
become a prince.
Skip that.
So it's Friday, October 19, day
case.
1 of Steve's big watch event.
That
the
is
big day is
absolutely
tomorrow,
gorgeous.
Saturday, the second day of the event.
Look at this
But
thing.
I ran into a friend of mine, an old friend, Paul,
Imagine that
who
in
has
brand
a
new mint
red
condition.
sub that was
How
made
nice
in the
it would
early
be.
70s that I bought in the
Look at that.
early
Look at the side view.
80s
Look at
and
the
then
lugs,
ended
and
up
look
selling
at
to
how
him.
everything's kind of
And
curved
around
nice.
1983, 84. And
Nice
he
softened.
still has the watch.
Look how
How
thin
cool
it
is
is.
that? And I interviewed him. He had the watch with him. Okay, I'm here at Little Treasury
Got it on his
Jewelers,
wrist.
and I'm here with
Freaking
Paul
awesome.
Falpel. Say hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Awesome.
And what do
piece.
you got on your wrist there?
I have an old
Look at that thing.
vintage
Are you kidding me?
Submariner
And they went and
Rolex.
Screwed it
They
up.
call the Red Submariner.
right,
The hell were they thinking?
1680.
Look at that watch on his
And
wrist.
you have the original bracelet, but you put another bracelet on.
Yeah, it was due to some wear on that. I wanted to continue to keep it as wear-free as possible. Yeah.
So how long have you had the watch? Let's give the backstory a little bit here. You and I have had several watches where I've ended up with a watch and then somehow you've ended up with it.
Right. You go through them more than I do. I end up keeping them after you've given them to me or sold them to me at a reasonably good price.
So you have a strong hand. You hold. So let's go back in time. We were
Stunning.
trying to
Look at that
discuss
watch.
earlier, try to date this. We're probably looking at the early 80s.
Yeah, it'd be early 80s, so we're talking, some good 30-some years ago.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're both getting older.
Yeah, we sure are.
Look at
But
that
you,
thing.
and the first watch that
Oh my God!
that,
Look at
that
those
I
lugs.
remember you purchasing was a old, as it appeared to be, old bubbleback Rolex stainless, and then I acquired that from you
Even the
several
crystal
years
is cool.
later after you got tired of it and moved on to, I guess, the Submariner at that point in time. And then once
All right,
again,
that's
that
enough.
fell
That's enough.
into my
That's
hands
enough,
as well.
You guys can see it on my channel, the whole thing. But are you kidding me? I mean, you know, I'm not making this stuff up, folks. This is real world stuff. I'm not making this stuff up. Let's see. See what else we got going on here. Triforcers, that's funny. Yes, I'd buy one instantly if that was to happen. So Williams. Fisher Spaceman cartridges are filled with nitrogen. Nitrogen is an extremely stable gas, and that is why the Nissan GTR tires are filled with nitrogen. Yeah, and a lot of good tire shops will fill your tires with nitrogen, because that way they don't get real soft in the winter and expand, and it doesn't expand and contract the way oxygen does. It's a much better choice, unless I am able to lobotomize him and change him for an Explorer. Okay. Coach, you must be signing a lot of deals because those fountain pens dry out quickly. I think Lance could get a better condition OP36 instead of a Datejust. Okay, there you go. It's the 75th anniversary of the Datejust. I hope they release a full gold Datejust and green dial. Oh, that'd be so freaking cool. And with ceramic sleeves in the bracelet, those anti-wear sleeves that the Date 8 has. Let's see, at least my Pilot retractable point. Okay. I'm trying to catch up here. Craig has converted me to Bitcoin, but not GS yet. Tom in the house. You got to have a strong hand, though, as we've seen here in the last day. Bitcoin can be a roller coaster ride, so be ready for a lot of ups and downs. After you've had it for a couple of years, it'll be old hat. You won't even think about it. It can pull back 30 or 40%, and you'll be like, no big deal. See, I've been here, done that. Been here, done that. Let's see. Just make sure you get a real crispy, sharp, fluted bezel. A lot of dealers polish them and ruin them. Well, a lot of times they get polished by use, by just going underneath the shirt cuff, in and out of the shirt cuff and all. Just age on a Date 8, same thing. You can get those fluted bezels. They'll get wear just from use, even if they've never been serviced or never been polished. Mine was still in pretty good shape when I sold it. But they can get, just from use, they can get some, that fluting can get kind of rounded down a little bit. The one that Tur got is a little bit worn down, a little bit rounded down, but they still look stunning, even with that. They still look stunning. Let's see. I'm still deciding if I should get the fluted or engine turn bezel. Which one, in your opinion, is better? Well, you're going to have to pay more money for the fluted bezel, but I think the fluted bezel with the Jubilee is the way to go if you can get a real nice one. What new spring drive are you referring to? Triforce, okay. The crown guards on the current sub are oversized, broad, and blunted. I much prefer the older birds beak crown guards. Yeah, like the one we just saw. How stunning was that? I mean, like, my gosh, why would you screw around with something that was perfect? The only person in Panama more influential than Carlos is Roberto Duran. There you go. The engine turned is cool, but the fluted is the way to go, buddy. It's the original and is stunning in the flesh, so to speak. Not sure. I think the engine turn might predate the fluted bezel. My first Datejust that I bought in 1978 was an engine turn bezel, and I don't even know if they had the white gold fluted bezel at that point in time. Maybe they did. It's a good question. Carlos is in the house. You would laugh, but someone presented him to me, and I did not have an idea about who he was. We had a lot of fun. He is not used to people not knowing about him. There you go. Is Paul accused? Is Paul accusing you of being a watch flipper? I don't know what that's about. Okay. Let's see. My best advice if you're buying pre-owned is to study the fluted bezels in the Rolex AD window so you have a good idea of how sharp and clean the bezel should look. Then hunt one down. Yeah, if you can find a, a Safe Queen, a box watch, and get it, that's the best move. I'll bet he's not, Carlos, my favorite boxer of all time. Okay. Sent you a picture. Okay, Lance sent a picture. We'll take a look at that. I can hardly wait. Carlos, no idea of boxing, really. I only saw one fight on TV and was one that Tyson ended in less than a minute, but I have several friends here that like it and speak a lot about something. I do not have a clue. Yeah, I hear you. Indeed, that's true, Craig. Let's see. Tyson Durant's favorite boxer too. Okay, thank you for the tip. Michael, it is their new movement, 5-day power reserve, awesome finishing, more accurate and thinner. Triforce Rich. Okay, let's fluted bezel makes the Datejust a shop display window stunner. Oh, and Duran wore a day-date, clear to see on his recent biopic. There you go. The Datejust originally released in 1945. It was full gold on a Jubilee with a fluted bezel, Craig. Okay, well, there you go. But see, I was asking about the white gold fluted bezel on the steel watch. I'm not so sure. They had all gold ones back in the day. I know that, but I'm not so sure about the white gold bezel on a steel watch at that point in time. Was it 18 karat or 14 karat gold? I don't know what the original ones were. I know they offered 14 karat gold in some Rolexes, but I'm not sure they offered it ever in a Datejust. I don't know. I never saw one. I saw 14 karat gold like oysters and different models, but I don't recall ever seeing a 14 karat gold Datejust, but they may have made them. I have the feeling that Duran must had a much better times than now. Okay. All right. So let's go check the email. Give me a moment here. Okay. Yeah, this is an all right watch. Let me get this full size and I'll show it to you. I mean, and that's an all right watch, and I think you can get a Lange. I think you can get a good deal on some of these. I don't like the way the lugs meet the case. I don't like, those kind of like squared off lugs that just going right into the case. It looks like they were kind of just tacked on. I'm more like a lug that flows into the case, more like the 002, that I have here, where it's just kind of rounded and just kind of flows right into the case. That's kind of the design that I like. So it wouldn't be for me, but I think you can get a deal on some of those watches sometimes. I don't think they have a great, there's an example of a watch that does not hold its value well. And so I think you might be able to get a deal on one of those. And if you like something like that, it's a beautiful dress watch. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's a beautiful piece. But it wouldn't trump the 002 for me. Oh, I'm not showing it there. Sorry. I switched back to the other and I didn't switch back to that. So yeah, that wouldn't, it just wouldn't trump the 002 for me. But it's a stunner. It's a good looking piece. Let's see. First steel Datejusts were the 1601 late 50s. There you go. And I wonder if those were available with a white gold bezel. I doubt it. I would think that they came with probably the engine turn bezel or maybe also a smooth bezel. But that would be worth doing some research. I never saw one with the white gold fluted bezel, one of those oldies but goodies. Okay. We're coming up on an hour, folks, and we're dragging a little bit here. We're dragging. Let's go back and show a couple of photos of the stunner. Let me see here what we've got. There, that one loaded in, nice. That looks pretty sharp. Looks pretty sharp. That one you can see a little bit of the texture on the dial. And another little starburst of light there hitting that 18 karat gold. That gold will pop. That gold will pop in the sunlight. See, oh, here's one where you can see a little bit of the side of the case, a little bit of the brushing, and you can see a little bit of that crown, and see a little bit of the deployant clasp on that picture. Let's try one more. Oh, there's a nice little sunburst on that one. And it's very, very classic looking, and it definitely has enough gold there that down the road, if it needed to go into Grand Seiko and they needed to do some servicing on it and do some polishing and things like that, they have plenty of gold there to work with on that case. Plenty on the sides, plenty in the lugs there, plenty of gold, and nice shape to the whole thing. Really elegant, but I'll tell you what, these photos don't capture what it looks like on wrist. It just really, really looks stunning on wrist. Hopefully we can have an event. I want one this year. I shared, it was a year ago today, was the event when I got the 005, the one on the right there. It was a year ago today, and I shared it in a couple of the watch forums online, the video from it. And it was a fun event at Little Treasury, and I do miss those events. That was a fun event. I can't wait until he can gear those up again. Did you make a mistake in buying your GMT not needed, Mike, in the house? Did I make a mistake? I really like the watch, but hindsight being 2020, I mean, if the 002 was available then, I would have probably just bought the 002 and not bought it. But unfortunately, the 002 wasn't available then. At least I didn't know about it, and I know Steve didn't have it in stock, even if it was available. And it turned out that even getting it here recently, it was like pulling teeth. It was very difficult to get. It took us like 2 months to get this puppy. So in the meantime, I had the nice 005 to wear, and I don't regret it. And hopefully, if I do sell it at some point, hopefully it will find a nice new home. And the lovely Brianna's in the house. Hi, everyone. Going on a walk on a beautiful day. I hope so. I got a 2-hour walk in today, Bree. It was beautiful out. Absolutely. The only issue I see with the Patek 5196 is there isn't a lot of metal on that, I think you mean case, for a person when a polishing wheel needs to work with. Yeah, if like down the road, if it really needs to be redone, it is nice to have a little bit of extra gold to work with on that. I agree with that. That's way down the road when, it's gotten a lot of heavy use. And, of course, a lot of these watches don't get that much heavy use, so it never becomes an issue. But if you really do put it through a lot of heavy use, it's nice to have a little bit of extra gold to work with when the refinishing time comes. Lance is in the house, and he says hello to Bree. And Bree says hi right on back. William watches. You're right, Craig. They were lots with engine turn bezels, but there were some with the white gold fluted bezel on the 16012 too. Okay, interesting. Good to know. I really think you should go one watch does all. Sell the diver, sell the GMT, and get some quick release straps for the gold GS. Quick release straps. You mean so that you can change them from the case real easily? But I still would need to change out. I like the deployant clasp, but I'd have to change. I don't think I need to change the strap, though. I think this dark brown goes with almost everything. I think it's very versatile. Are you thinking about a sporting type strap to put on it when I'm sporting about? sporting around. That might be interesting. If hindsight is 2020, then Lance would have only bought a Rolex. Cheat down in the house. Hello, Bree for Dents. Have a nice walk. Yeah. And Carlos says hello to Bree. Craig, I mentioned your 002 GS to my GS authorized dealer yesterday, and they said your watch is only available at GS boutiques. How did you get it without having to go to a boutique? Curious. They're wrong. It is a regular production watch, and it is available. It's not easy to get. It took Steve some wrangling and some time, and all he got 2 of them. But it is not a limited edition. It's not technically a limited edition, but clearly they're not making very many. But as far as I know, according to Steve, it is a regular production watch, and it should be available at any Grand Seiko dealer. So I don't know why they were told that by Grand Seiko, but that's not the information that I have. Now, maybe they've changed that. I don't know, but, you know, I can tell you they're not easy to get. I can confirm that. And he might, you know, your AD might not even want to get one because he might not think he can sell it. So, you know, it's an expensive watch, and not everybody's gonna go for it. And Breeze in the house, definitely a great way to stay active. Agreed. 30-minute walking in the morning before you eat every day do wonders for your health. Williams watches. Let's talk a little bit about health, and let's also talk real quick about decision making and about. I listened to a podcast today where she talked about, you know, you're putting up roadblocks to your success, and you're saying things like, well, if this happens, then I'll do that, right? When this virus thing is over with, I'll do this, right? Type of thing. In other words, you keep putting things off. And you say, I'll do it after this, right? And her point was in the podcast, and I agree 100%, is if it's something that's important to you and you need to do it, do it. Don't let outside forces stop you from getting what you want to get done. Figure out a way. Figure out a way to get it done. No matter what outside forces are trying to hinder you, right? Like, for example, getting this 002. I could have very easily put it off. I could have very easily said, well, there are uncertain times, the economy, you know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'll wait. Steve, hold on to the watch, and I'll take a look at it in a couple of months or whatever. I could have been, you know, like scared and wimpy and all that, right? But I said, hey, it's a beautiful piece. It's something that I've wanted, and I'm in a position financially to do it. And so I went and did it. And so I'm not going to let barriers that other people put up stop me. I'm going to figure out a way to go around them. I'm going to put a door in that barrier, right? I'm going to figure out a way to get done what I need to get done. So, and taking care of yourself, fitness and all of that is all very important. It's something that you can take charge of, and you can do a lot of positive things right now. Right now, there are tremendous opportunities right now. And a lot of people are just sitting at home, you know, twiddling their thumbs and not taking advantage of those opportunities that are out there and not making the right smart choices. So there you go. I'll get off my soapbox. Agreed. 30 minutes walking. Okay, we just read that. Go for the Triforce rich look. Pink dress shirt with 2 to 3 buttons undone. Navy sport jacket, and rock that 002 with some style. There you go. Tomorrow I will start walking again, says Carlos. I'm walking right now, and it's great. Triforce rich, keeping me sane. Yes, before thick. And I won't read that word thing. I used to walk minimum 10 kilometers a day. Most of the days, 15 to 20 kilometers. Okay, good. I don't know how far I walk. I don't track it anymore, but I walk for usually about 2 hours. So probably, let's see, maybe 3 miles an hour average, maybe. So maybe around 6 miles, something like that. Now, how many kilometers? What's that? 10? Yeah, it's about 10 kilometers. That's insane, Carlos. You're about 50, right? There you go. Well, he looks like he's about 30. He's a good-looking guy. Let's see. You heard Craig, folks. Don't wait and go and buy that Steel Sports Rolex on a high-interest credit card. There you go. Now, the Rolex, it might be a good idea to wait on because the prices are falling. So it might be a good idea to wait and get a real good deal on those puppies when the price bottoms out. Tom says, Craig, I'm here because of your soapbox. There you go. I guess Bree left. Bree, I guess you're not going to call in and say hi. She's probably out wandering around loose. Hopefully she is. Hopefully she's out there making some things happen. Mike's in the house. He says, I walk 4 to 5 miles a day or bike 15 to 20 miles. Don't always feel like it, but always feel great after I've done it. Oh, I agree. Absolutely. Sometimes you got to push yourself. Robert's in the house. I ran a 5K yesterday, and I'm a little overweight, and I'm training for a marathon in October. Cool. Well, yeah, this is the time to shed that weight because, that is one of the risk factors for this thing that's going around is being overweight. So get in shape, and everybody should do that. This should be a wake-up call for a lot of people that, hey, control the things you can control, right? You can control your fitness. And by the way, all this washing of hands and hand sanitizer and all this stuff, it's the worst thing you can do for this thing. It harms your immune system. It's not a good play. The best thing you can do is eat right, get plenty of rest, be in great physical shape, and if you happen to get this thing, you'll get over it, you'll be fine. But all this washing of hands and hand sanitizer and wearing masks and wearing gloves and all of this stuff, not good. Not good for your immune system. It's really the opposite of what most people should do. So there you go. Swap the 002 for a Fitbit. I do have an Apple Watch that'll track my my steps. I'm after a day date, but the prices are holding firm here in the UK. Okay, well, hang in there. They'll go down. Tom, I know a lot of people who wear a luxury watch on the wrist and a Fitbit on the other. Yeah. Get your steel Rolex now before the dog man buys them all up. Is he buying more steel watches? That's sad. I bike 2 to 3 times a week, 11 to 15 miles each ride. David in the house. There you go. Absolutely. My GSAD is in a high-end area of Orlando, so I think they could move the 002. Not sure why they were wrong about it. Well, you can call Steve and see what he says. Maybe they have changed it. I know he sold that Crador recently, and he said that was the last one of those he was able to get, that those are going to be boutique only from now on. So maybe they've made the 002 boutique only at this point. I would call and talk to Steve and get it from the horse's mouth. Talk to the AD who actually has one in stock. I don't think he sold it yet. He still has the sister to this one. It's within 2 serial numbers of this one. They weren't sequential. They were 2 numbers apart. They're both even number serial numbers. And he has it, so he can certainly maybe shed some light. Maybe they did give him some VIP treatment. Maybe he pulled some strings. And maybe it was some VIP treatment. What do you think about that? Maybe Steve is a VIP. Triforce Rich, some of these YouTubers think Steel Rolex is Pokemon. They want to catch them all. I remember one YouTuber thinking you honestly need a different type of sports model for every activity. Craig, you don't like Tudor, but you have an Apple Watch. Yes, I actually wore the Apple Watch for a year or two, and it's super comfortable on wrist. It really is a nice piece, but I just got tired of it. I didn't really like it that much, and I felt like I didn't really need the functionality of it, so I went back to my other watches. But yeah, I would much rather have an Apple Watch over a Tudor. Yes, that wouldn't be a close call. I would pass on the Tudor, and I would definitely go for the Apple Watch over the Tudor. So at least you get like a lot of functionality, and you get a watch that's thin enough to wear as a dress watch. They're only about 10 mils thick. And with the link bracelet, they're extremely comfortable on wrist. and they look good, which no Tudor does, I would pass on the Tudor all day long. Let's see, Cheetown's in the house. A different watch for every possible scenario is honestly a load of malarkey. My friend wears a Sea Dweller, and the guy can't even swim. Kevin D. Not one of these so-called doctors on give the great advice you do. Just vaccine. LOL. Yeah. I'll pass on the vaccine. Yeah. Don't get near me with that silly vaccine. I'm not going there. I really couldn't get along with the Apple Watch, Williams watches. There you go. Don't even think about it, Lance. Oh, Craig, what do you think about Tag Heuer connected smartwatch? Oh, jeez. Lance, please. Please. All right, we're going to wrap it up pretty soon. Get any other questions in, any last-minute questions in here. Lance, get the Tag smartwatch. Not Triforce Rich. Yes, but he can tell everyone in the restaurant his watch can go to the ocean floor like a 300-pound roll of fat, talking how his Explorer can go up Everest. Oh, jeez. That's terrible. Yo, Craig, how's it going? Oh, Brett is in the house. You just got here. We're just getting ready to wrap up. Brett. Yeah, Kyle and gave us a great report from Santa Barbara, and I guess you're still hanging out there at Venice. But yeah, we're getting along. We're going to do a special broadcast later tomorrow at about 9 o'clock or so our time here. So about 6 o'clock your time. We're going to do a special Bitcoin halving broadcast. So be sure to tune in for that, folks. I think you need a glass to replace that plastic cup. No, it's not plastic. It is glass. It just has all these watermarks on it from the hard water here. But it's glass. Yeah. Let's see. Poker Sunday. No, Craig, I still have time on this trail. Let's go for another 20 minutes. I'll be there for the whole episode, Craig. Well, there you go. Cool. Maybe you guys can call in and give us your thoughts on Bitcoin during the show. And anybody else that wants to call in, even Carlos, you can call us and give us your thoughts. I know you're not real positive on Bitcoin, but you could still call us and give us your thoughts. And if you're going to send Bitcoin to the lovely Bree live, maybe you can do that live on the show. That would be kind of cool if you could figure that out. Carlos, yes, it is Orlando Watch in Winter Park. And Brett says, what's up, William? Yeah, we will call in. I'll buy some BTC live. Wow, okay. Yeah. I wonder if anybody bought this dip. We just had that nice dip. I wonder if anybody bought the dip. And do you realize that I said the other day on the show that I thought it could dip down to, around 8,000 or so, or even 7,000 or 8,000? And let's see what we dipped down to. Let's do a check here on the channel. I'm going to have to refresh this puppy because it's all out discombobulated. But we'll do one check here before I wrap this puppy up. And by the way, we could pull down further. We could have a pullback after the halving. Typically, there's a pullback after the halving, but you never know. And as you know, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather buy and have the Bitcoin. And even if it dips down, I don't care because I'm in for the long term. But yeah. Chip, you can't wish viruses away. That's not how they work. You have to wash your hands regularly as a precaution. Time must burn it. No. It ruins your pH. It's not a good thing to be washing your hands all the time. That's all a bunch of poppycock. And if you get the virus, if you're in good condition and you take care of yourself, you're healthy, you'll be fine. You'll get over it fine. It won't be a big deal. Now, if you've got a whole bunch of issues, if you've got diabetes and you're 300 pounds overweight and so on and so forth, then it's probably not going to be a good day for you. But that's what happens. It's what happens when you don't take care of yourself. Little things come along and you're not ready to fight it. I bought BTC this morning at 8,200. I don't know that it went that low. Did it go that low? All right, let me pull up the chart here. Let's see what it went down to. It looks like, yeah, around 82.50, or did it 82.34? I'm not so sure it went down to, I'm not so sure it hit 8,200, Tom, but if it did, if you were able to snag it at 8,200, well done. Well done. You really nailed the bottom. Carlos is in the house. Of course, it might dip down again, so anything's possible. We're at 87.17 right now. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Craig, do you consider oversized divers like oversized SUVs for the average suburbanite? I'll tell you the reason that I bought my 231, even though it is a pretty big size diver, is I tried it on wrist and it felt great. And it didn't really look too big on my wrist. If it didn't feel great, if it felt bulky and felt too heavy or whatever, then I wouldn't have bought the watch. And that titanium helps tremendously. And the shape of the lugs and that bracelet, the way it's designed and everything, all helps tremendously to make that comfortable on wrist, even though it's a pretty big watch. A lot of people, a lot of reviewers have said that it wears more like a 40 mil watch, right? So, yeah, it really comes down to you've got to try the watch. Most bigger watches like that I've tried on wrist just felt too heavy and too bulky, and it would just definitely be a no-fly zone for me. The only reason I bought that watch is it is a lot more comfortable than the size would suggest it would be. Let's see, agreed, Carlos. I got my 238 25th anniversary 9F there. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Carlos. What's the water resistance on your Doxa? I did also buy some at nearly 10K. Oh, okay. Sad face. Well, you'll be all right long term. Just have a strong hand. 1,200 meters. Wow. Thomas, superb taste, Carlos. Well, no, I don't know about that. I would have passed on that Doxa. I think Carlos is having fun with that one, but no, that would not be the one that I would buy and wear. He has much better options to have on his wrist, and wrist time is very limited. He'll learn that as he gets older. He's still a youngster. He'll learn as he gets older that wrist time is very precious and very limited, and no sense wearing something marginal on wrist. On that note, we're going to wrap it up, wrap this puppy up. We've been going about an hour and, I did start late. We've been going about an hour, almost an hour and 15 minutes. So just short of an hour and 15 minutes. So thank you all for tuning in. Hit subscribe and do hit the little bell. Thanks again.